I'm Autumn Brown, a queer science fiction writer, a mother of dragons, front woman of the band Autumn, and a healing justice facilitator for social movements living on Dakota and Anishinaabe land, currently known as Minneapolis.
And I'm Adrienne Marie Brown, Autumn's sister, Solange to her Beyonce, a writer and a gardener of healing ideas. I live in the land of the Shakori, Squirure, Tuscarora, and Lumbee peoples, known as Durham, North Carolina, and it's currently hurricane season.
And this is How to Survive the End of the World.
Our podcast about learning from apocalypse with grace, rigor, and curiosity. As a reminder, we have no ads. We are fully listener supported. So we invite you to join our Patreon for exclusive content. Join our Patreon because you like us. Join our Patreon because you want us to keep making this podcast. And join our podcast because you want to hear radical, unfettered, unheld back opinions and thoughts from brilliant Black feminists.
That's right.
Today, we have an exciting episode for you, which is a listening party of Autumn the Band's second EP, The Way Your Blood Beats, which is named after James Baldwin's last interview, in which he said, "You have to go the way your blood beats. If you don't live the only life you have, you won't live some other life. You won't live any life at all." Really beautiful, fertile ground for this music. And I'm going to get to be in the interviewer and fangirl role with two members of Autumn the Band, Autumn, obviously my sister, and the incomparable Nehemiah Luckett, who is with us being all glorious and handsome. And I'm going to spill later about how excited I am to have now experienced Nehemiah on stage, but we're going to get into all of that. Before we dive in, let's just check in with each other. How are we today and this moment in the clock of the universe? Nehemiah, Autumn, one of you want to start?
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
You are Autumn.
This is Autumn. I have to say, on the whole, I'm doing really well. On the whole, I am doing well. I'm well in my spirit. I'm well in my body. I've had a couple of opportunities recently to reflect on what a privilege it is at my age to be in good health. And just that I'm I'm turning 41 at the end of November, and I was having this funny conversation with some really dear friends about a month and a half ago, where they were all comparing their vitamin protocols. Yeah. Yes. And I was like, "Oh, I don't take any vitamins at all for anything." And one of them looked at me and was like, "If you don't need to, don't start." And it was like a really funny moment of being like, this is actually like, it's really, really hard to have to navigate the world of like getting all of these different supplements and needs. Like if you don't have something missing that's causing health issues for you and you're able to get your needs met.
I don't even know if you could see it,
exactly.
All the supplements by my desk.
All the supplements. And I was just like, it didn't occur to me that like being relatively well enough in my body that I don't need to take supplements is also like that's a version of health, if that makes sense. So that was a cool thing to just to feel. And I'm in, as both of you are very aware, as people who are very close to me, I'm in a season of deep change, big changes are happening, big changes. And I feel like I'm doing a really good job of staying really steady. Even I have moments inside of every day where I have a little bit of panic or fear set in, but I'm leaning into practices and I think doing a pretty good job of staying steady and being nice to myself and being nice to the people around me. Which is, for me, that's one of the things that goes out the window when I'm stressed out, is being nice to the people immediately around me.
Sorry, people around me.
Sorry, children. Sorry, children. Yeah, so that's me. I haven't had to apologize a lot to my kids lately, so that's great.
Oh, I love that for them.
That is great. Yes, definitely.
Nehemiah, how are you?
I am mostly well in body and in spirit. I woke up this morning and my throat was really scratchy. I'm not sure if you can still hear a little bit of it. So I did, in the last 48 hours, I did 2 COVID tests. They both came back negative. And so now I am hydrating my way to health.
Good.
I realize, the supplement thing, that is real. I sometimes will take vitamin D through the winter just because that's a thing. But I hadn't thought about it yet. So maybe it's time to actually start getting that put together. And this is, I feel like I'm feeling big Phoenix energy right now. It feels like there are things in my past that I am finally composting, and I am ready to arise from the ashes of those and start new things. So it's big change energy coming in from all directions, and I'm feeling well resourced in community and feeling some family love vibes, both blood and chosen. And I'm just really excited again to be here. Like, it was already one of my life goals just to be here once. So now that this is like twice, I'm like, oh yeah, life
I'm a
goals
regular.
achieved.
Recurring guest. Recurring guest.
I was like, you might, on SNL, it's like if you go 5 times as a host or whatever, you get a special jacket. So we're going to give you something.
Adrienne, how are you?
I am. I'm doing better. So I definitely I hit a real wall. I've been trying to work a poem out to sort of describe like what happened, and I kept being like, I didn't turn away from you. I just went underwater. Like I just went under, and this feeling of like coming on, coming to the 1 year marker of this genocide experience and like how much it has really transformed my life, and having a birthday and having 2 hurricanes back to back, and that, we still have family without power from Helene, and we had family that we had to figure out like how to help be the voice of God that they would listen to, to
get themselves to safety,
evacuate, So there's been, it's just been this really like, it feels like, all the things, I've cried a lot over the past few weeks, where it's just been like, as someone who's been doing the kind of work I've done for my whole adult life around climate and around war, like these are the first 2 things that I really organized around in some ways. Right. And to be here, I had to take a moment and just integrate what it felt like to have all this happening. And I'm so grateful for therapy and so grateful for friends, and and for I've been very like, okay, you're going to do this to comfort yourself right now. And I feel very like the way I'm talking to myself right now is so loving. Like, it's okay that you did a good, look at you. You're getting through this day. Like, that's okay. Yeah. Did you definitely spilled all that. Yeah. Well, whatever it is, it's just like how to be very like, part of the healing work I'm doing is bringing back some younger selves and integrating them back into my life. And so I'm like, I have to treat myself like I've got younger parts that are here and they're
need reassurance.
Attending to. Exactly.
Yes.
But the things I've been doing that are helping is I've been back in my therapeutic practice. I have been swimming. And I've been like making sure I go outside. Fall is happening, which is one of my favorite things. And I know this is going to sound a little morbid, but Scorpio moon. But these days, certain things happen like fall and winter where I'm like, I don't know how many more of these we'll have. And I want to be in it. I really love this season. Or I don't know how it's going to change or get shortened or whatever. So I'm like, it's crisp outside. It's cool. It's, it's the leaves are turning all red and orange. And, they're reminding me that death can be this like really beautiful cycle of the system. And so all of that's been happening. Yeah. So that's how I'm doing. And I also wanted to say on the supplement and like vitamin tip, there's also something about the aging and talking about health that is feeling very delightful to me, where I keep having these moments with like close friends where it's like, we'll spend a whole catch up, like things are, I'm like, oh, we used to spend this time talking about crushes or talking about like, I don't know, what do you want to be when you grow up or whatever. And now it's just like, what vitamin are you taking for this? And what vitamin are you taking for that? And what practice are you taking for this or whatever? So I also want to say, Autumn, welcome to your 40s, because it does, even if you're not taking the supplements yet, it does become this period where you're like, the main thing we're going to talk about is like injuries and wellness and recoveries, all of that. So now that we are all arrived, we're going to shift into listening party mode of one of my favorite bands that has hit the scene in this past year, which is Autumn the Band. And we, as you all remember, had our first listening party for the first album, The Animal and You. That was outstanding, and it was a real blast to have everyone come on and talk with us. This time we're going to sit down and talk about The Way Your Blood Beats. Let's listen to the first opening song of The Way Your Blood Beats, which is called Waste.
You wasted my time, and you wasted my love. I thought that you could be mine, but you wasted it all. You poured it all down the drain. Nothing. Wasted my love, and you wasted my time. You thought I was an option. You thought I was a line in your story. In your story. In your story. That's not me. That's not me. Me. That's not
I love this song. Can you talk a little bit about who hurt you?
Ooh, wouldn't you like to know who hurt you? Who hurt you?
But it taps into something that feels so fundamental and so universal.
Yeah. It was about the that fundamental sort of feeling of like, the thing I talk about often with my music and with this song in particular feels really true is like, you have to, sometimes anger is the thing that helps you find your boundary.
Yes.
And I spent so many years of my adulthood really trying to like resist and avoid the feeling of being angry. And then of course it would just like flood out of me in really distorted ways. And one of my big learnings spiritually, psychologically of the last like 5 years has been using my anger as like a tool of clarification. And I feel like that's what this song was really about, was being like, I'm so angry and that's why I have this boundary, In terms of process, this was a song where it's one of the most recent songs of all of the songs on both EPs. It's one of the more recent ones. And so the first demo of it is all vocals because it was just me in Logic Pro being like, you know, like making weird harmonies. Yeah. And then so when we took it into the studio, you know, one of the things that we figured out in recording The Animal in You was that in terms of our group work, one of the things that like it was fun for us with The Animal in You was occasionally working in a way where we would get to reveal things to each other. Ooh. So, I mean, we learned that in part with The Animal in You because of the fact that Nehemiah and Dwight were virtual and Meryl and I were in person. So there was a lot where we had to reveal things to each other. Like Nehemiah I remember with Deserving, it was like Nehemiah like wrote the horn section and then revealed it to us. And we were like, oh my God, you know, and
yes,
you know, it was
exciting.
Like, so when we were going into recording The Way Your Blood Beats, I knew that I wanted to have at least one song where I would go into the studio, just me and Meryl, and then we would reveal what we made to Nehemiah and Dwight, and then figure out what else was needed. So when Meryl and I first got into the studio, we just spent one morning together working on this, and just like laid down. We already had beats, we had the vocals, we laid down a bunch of like synthesizer noises, and I played acoustic drums. And so that like crazy like electric guitar sound at the end, we were using a synthesizer instrument. I think we were using the Mellotron. And then Meryl had this really cool device called a crystal dagger that you plug into the synthesizer and it creates the distortion. And so that's how we created that sound. And so it was just me playing some chords, but then it's piped through this like effect, basically.
Distortion machine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so awesome. So we were just like having a weirdo fun time. And so for that one, we basically left the studio with a demo recording that was like just that stuff that we had made that morning. And then afterwards, Nehemiah and I listened to it together and we were like, it does really need piano and bass. It really just does.
It still needs it. Yeah.
And so Nehemiah created the haunting, weird piano part. Totally an homage to Alanis Morissette. That's how I
experience it. Alanis Morissette. It's so Alanis Morissette.
And then we collaborated. The way I remember it is that we collaborated with Marty Metronomus is our mixing engineer to create that bass line. And we had to do some weird... That was a learning experience because there's weird harmonic stuff happening throughout that whole song. Yes. And there was a lot of dissonant sounds, which Nehemiah and I were like, this is really cool. And Marty was like, yes, and
this is really difficult.
Like, how do we make this work?
Beautiful. I love that.
But it was also very exciting to try to pull in some of this different tonality from what people would maybe consider, you know, like new music or jazz or, you know, not pop sounding tonality, because there are times when is it major? Is it minor? What can this bass sound bring out? What does the piano want to be? It was very exciting, and I was just happy to have it be so raw, because I remember the first voice memo that Autumn sent to me. I was like, this is raw, and it might be about a person, but for me it's also about institutions.
That's what it feels like. Well, this is one of the things I love about, I think, this whole this EP for me is so much more about like taking the personal and understanding the system of it, right? It's just like, oh, you want to take my time? Like that means something for me as a Black queer person trying to exist in the world. And you're trying to take this precious miracle. And I think that brings us into our next song, which is Blood Song, right? Ooh. Which is like, I love the step from Waste into Blood Song. How much of my blood do you need to spill? So let's go right into that and listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
How much of my blood do you need to spill? How much of my blood do you need to spill to fill that cup you stole? You are still running, you're not free. You are still running, you're not free. You are still running, you're not free. And I just want to grieve. I just want to grieve. I just want to grieve. My blood do you need to spill? How much of my blood do you need to spill to fill that cup you stole? You are still running, you're not free. You are still running, you're not free. You are still running, you're not free. I just want to breathe. I just want to
Oh my God. This one feels like on a witchy level. I feel this one. I've been thinking so much about blood spells and blood magic and like what it means to work with the blood and what it means to like bind and unbind and like be truly a primal creature and to have someone wanting to take your fundamental life force for some other aim, for something else that they want. That's what boom, boom, booms in my system as I hear this song. This time I want to start with you, Nehemiah. Like when you first heard this song and this, how did it land for you? And yeah, how did you respond to it musically?
This is and was a song that hit me at the perfect intersection of a song I can get down with, an incantation, important to ritual.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was connecting a lot of these core elements that we wanted to bring out in Autumn the band. Like here it was speaking not only the idea of where you're talking about system-wide from the personal, like here I feel it is like somehow even larger. And that this felt like, when I heard it, I was like, yeah, let's get some spells on here. Like this is what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And Autumn, for you, I feel like when I hear this song, there's so much restraint in your voice. Like there's such a sense of like control and then intentionally choosing to go to lose it. And like, especially that free, that note there's just like, like it feels like you're going intergalactic, but you start from such restraint. You wait, it's just, how much of, it's so tender. There's so tender and then restrained and then you just go. It just felt like a different set of options for your voice. So I'd love to hear from you a little bit, like what it felt like to sing this song.
This song, well, and I want to say pretty transparently, like this song is really about genocide and enslavement.
Yes.
And so dealing with this kind of material, obviously, like as an artist, as a vocalist, there's a lot of places I could go vocally. And I think one of the things I'm learning about myself is that I can communicate so much more vocally when I opt for restraint.
Yeah.
Or another way of thinking about it is that if I'm beginning from a place of restraint vocally, then it allows something to emerge improvisationally that wouldn't necessarily if I was if I wasn't practicing containment.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I mean, and it's in some way that feels very related to just like what makes improvisation work.
Yeah.
The thing that makes improvisation work in any environment, whether you're talking musically or physically, is containers.
Yes.
So that crackly, weird noise that I make, that was like 100% improvised in the studio. That was like, I don't remember which take it was. It was like maybe take 2 or 3, but it was just the way that it came through at that moment. Yeah. And as soon as it happened, I was like, yeah, that's it, like that's it right there. And it's funny because when I came home from recording and played the demo for one of my children, Zia, she was just like, I hate that. And I was like, oh, I love that. It's like my favorite part of the song.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, the idea of like what it sounds like, the fact that it is like, yeah, this is what freedom through genocide, this is the sound of that. It's a completely dissonant thing. You cannot resolve it. And so of course you're listening, you're like, no. And it's just like, yeah, that it's supposed to produce that in you.
This is what it feels like. I will say the other thing I really liked about, I just want to highlight this from a production standpoint. There are things that I really liked about our process of putting this song together. This was a single, and it wasn't going to be the single. We had a different song that was queued up to be the single. And then just based on the conditions of the world, it was going to be Waste, actually. But just world conditions, we were just like, actually, I remember waking up one morning and being like, it has to be Blood Song. Like that's actually the song that needs to be in the world first. But this song features several moments where more than one person was playing the same instrument simultaneously while we were recording. So there's a moment in the studio where Nehemiah and Meryl played a synthesizer called the Moog together. And then there was a later moment when Nehemiah and I played the drums, the acoustic drums together. And that's how we laid down the drum track. In addition to, it has acoustic drums in addition to beats that Dwight created.
Thank you for the work of letting the song come through and be shaped. I love how collective it was. We need that. The next little piece, there's Reunion, which is the two of you landing with each other. And what I'm going to do is have y'all tell us a little bit about it before we go into it. And then I think we should listen to Reunion straight into Already Free and then come back. So this is our interlude. It is pure joy. And it feels like, but can you explain how we got this thing? Because it is such a strange thing.
We have technological gremlins and mistakes to basically thank for this one. I can't remember which one of us was calling which one. I think maybe I was calling you, Autumn, to let you know that I was like at your door. And somehow it continued recording into your voicemail. Was it your voicemail?
Or I think you accidentally, you hung up on me, but then you somehow accidentally triggered the recording of a voice memo.
It was really like such a joyous, complete mistake. So the vocal sounds that you hear are actually like the pure sounds of Autumn and I seeing each other as we were starting this little retreat moment in Minneapolis before we were going off to California for the recording.
So it's like Nehemiah arriving at my house. Like that's what the whole recording
stepping
is.
out of the car.
All right, y'all, listen to this.
Walking up.
Total joy.
Walking around my house being like, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. No better than for you. You're mad.
Oh man, I was so much fun last night.
Awaken me. I'm already free. Awaken. Awaken me. I'm already free. I know it's so in this world. I know I live in this world, but in the next world, I'm already free. I know it's so in this world, and I'll fight and die in this world, but in the next world, I'm already free. I can't believe in this world. I'm fighting for a new world, and I'm trying, and I'm trying. I need you to show me, yeah, how I'm already free.
Already free.
Awaken, awaken me. I'm already free.
Autumn, this song is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. I feel like it is, I often think of the quote from Harriet Tubman, "My people are free," and it gets me through times that feel impossible. And this song feels like that to me, where it's like, it's already happened. And I don't know if this is intentional. I want you to explain it to me, but this feels so related to Don't Be Afraid to me, where it's like something has already happened. But in that one, it's like the crisis has already happened. And this one, it feels like the freedom has already happened. Like it's like you're already there, but you just have to see. So yeah, I'd love to hear for you where this song emerged. And I think it's one of the older songs.
It's not, well, it's a few years old. It's not one of the oldest, but
like you've sung it in other places too, right?
Yeah, because so this song has like a pretty specific origin story in that I was reading this book. I'm holding it up. They Were Her Property by Stephanie E. Jones Rogers, which is, I highly recommend this book. It's incredible. The subtitle is White Women as Slave Owners in the American South. And yeah, I mean, it's an incredible book.
It is an incredible book.
Disrupts the mythology of white women's innocence in the project of enslavement. And actually really it goes into a lot of depth about the level of investment that white women have in property and ownership in relationship to Black people. Because it was one of the few ways that they could exert economic power during that time period. Yeah. So anyway, so one of the things that happened early on in Nehemiah and I's process is we talked about like, what did we want the role of found text to be in our project? Nice. And we would occasionally collect these different like shreds of either spiritual texts or Black feminist texts or Black liberation writers. We still have like a Google Doc with all of these different like shreds of texts in them. So we knew that there was some way that our project was going to be drawing on other people's texts. And that was like something we had established pretty early on. Fast forward to 2022, I'm doing all this research on fugitive practice and doing all this political work around fugitivity and doing a lot of research around the period of enslavement. And I'm reading this book. And in this book, Jones Rogers publishes the text of this letter that a white woman wrote where she's like relating to a friend of hers, this interaction she saw between her white daughter and her daughter's handmaid, who's a Black enslaved woman. And the daughter continuously says to the enslaved woman, you know, do you understand that some people are free and some people are not? Do you understand that I'm a free person and you are not? Right? This is a white child speaking to an adult Black woman who's enslaved and works for her. And Mary, the enslaved woman, at some point says, yes, missus, here. I know it is so here in this world. And I remember being so struck by that like even inside of that moment, this woman knew. She was like, yeah, I understand that here in this world, you're free and I'm not. But it's just this world. It's not the world. Yes, so right. that visionary orientation to like there is a greater reality in which I'm already free because I'm born free. Like to me, that is like the fucking heart of Black feminism. That is the heart of Black feminism right there. That is. And so that inspired this song, which was also, this song was commissioned by a group that was doing a film screening of a film series here in Minneapolis called Free the Deeds that was focused on the history of racial covenants in property deeds on Minneapolis homes. So the first time I performed it was totally like a cappella in that environment where I basically, I remember that I couldn't have a piano on stage, and at the time also just, I wouldn't have even if I could have had a piano on the stage, to be honest, I would not have felt confident in my own. I mean, Nehemiah has witnessed me in this over the years. It's like a hilarious, like I play piano well enough to compose, but I don't feel confidence in my skills as a pianist to like really.
You're not at the like Nina Simone of it all.
No, not there. Maybe someday.
It's okay. It's okay.
But anyway, so I was like, I can't accompany myself on the piano. What can I do? So what I did was I taught the audience a chord to hum. So I had the audience divided up into 3 sections, and each section had a note that formed a chord. And they hummed it, and then I sang over them. And it was like, talk about incantation. That shit was crazy.
I'm like, girl, that's amazing.
Well, and I got the idea from Jacob Collier, because he does all of this like audience choir stuff in his performances, which is really beautiful. It's always
so beautiful.
So anyway, so that was a couple of years ago. Then taking it into the studio was like that. I mean, it was a wild process. I feel like I have to hand it to Nehemiah to talk about, because what I remember is that I could not get through a single vocal take without weeping while we were recording this song.
Yeah.
It was so intense. It was so intense.
But I think you did a great job of, one, setting us up by inviting that story into the room as we were heading into recording. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to remember the order of events because, again, incantations, once we get to the end and the idea was kind of, these are the voices, not only of us, but also allowing space for the voices of others who are and were already free, though may not have known or may not have been able to experience their freedom during their lifetime.
This EP, like I keep wanting to impress upon people. I'm like, I find it doesn't, I want to say this right way. It's like, it doesn't play well with others. I keep telling people, I'm like, this isn't to just throw into I can't just throw it into any old random playlist. Like, it is ritual work, and it's beautiful ritual work, but it's like, you have to sit and be ready to go in. And the next song, even more, right? So I'm like, we just keep going down and peeling back these layers and going into such tender places. The next song, I can't listen to it without weeping. And we're recording this conversation today, which is a significant anniversary related to this song. So, Autumn, I want to ask you to talk to us about Leave You Buried before we listen to it a little bit, and just let listeners know, what are we heading into here? And then, we can talk a bit about it.
Universe doesn't play.
Ever.
I felt compelled to light a candle at the top of our recording session, and
I've been burning sage this whole time.
And I wasn't totally clear as to why. And then I was like, right, it's because it's the anniversary. So today, October 11th, is the 10-year anniversary of the birth of the infant phenomenon, who is the beautiful soul that this song is written for. And infant phenomenon was my fourth child who died in utero. So I gave birth to him when I was 5 months pregnant. And our listeners know this is a loss that completely changed the trajectory of my life in both hard but also just incredibly beautiful ways. And I absolutely credit this child, this soul, with why I am here in this moment right now talking to the two of you and to our whole listening audience about these EPs, without his spirit flowing through me in the way that it did, I would never have had I don't believe that I would have had the courage and the clarity to step into myself as an artist so fully. It's wild that it's been 10 years, but October 11th, 2014 was the day that I gave birth to him. And I had found out that he had died on October 8th. So this whole week is anniversary time. This song is not actually about that moment so much as it is about the moment where I had to leave the land where he's buried. Because, he was buried on the land that I lived on at the time in 2014. And then in 2019, when I went through my divorce, and in 2020, when we finally sold our house, which took a year, I had to let go of the land where he was buried. And knowing that I wasn't going to dig him up, I wasn't going to unearth him from the land. I had to leave him there. It was part of the process. So that is what the song is about.
Nehemiah, can you tell me a little bit about what it was like to be in the studio with each other recording this song?
I wanted, knowing how important the story of this and the connection is, I wanted to try and bring a personal connection that I could into the experience. And I was a preemie. I was born somewhere 6 weeks early. It's a whole thing. My mom was not supposed to have a second child. And So once it was clear that she was pregnant, they set a date for cesarean because they were like, a vaginal birth will kill you. So they scheduled the cesarean, early as they would.
Yeah.
And almost a month earlier than the cesarean was scheduled is when I decided to make my descent. And I know that, something that my mom carries is this idea of you almost weren't here. There were so many things that could have gone wrong. There were so many complications. The doctors were really trying to persuade her not to go through with the pregnancy for a host of medical reasons. But she was focused and she was like, he's supposed to be here. I'm doing this. And so I was in agreement because, we made a pact not to not to let anybody else decide, I guess. And so I was trying to channel the connection that my mother and I have and have had throughout my entire life, which feels like some form of telepathy. But
yeah, y'all have such a powerful connection.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. But also knowing that this is this reality that we live in, and that perhaps there is another reality where I was not born, or another reality where there were complications. And as I was trying to enter into these alternate spaces, I felt transported in a way that I have not. Actually, I think probably the only other thing was when I led Kol Nidre Yom Kippur services years ago, and I was fasting, and it was a real build up into this kind of religious experience. And by the end of the first take, I was just like a puddle of tears. Whenever I listen to this song, I think about how that piano was soaked in my tears as we were, recording this one.
Yes. feel so grateful for your vulnerability there, Nehemiah, and that you let yourself break open on the piano, and Autumn, that you broke open on the page and with your voice. And it really is such a, like, it's a song that is medicine. It's medicinal. Like, you know, I had an ectopic pregnancy 6 months after you lost infant phenomenon, and I remember coming out of it and being like, I need what's left. I need the baby so I can go. I need to go do this ritual. And they were like, it's gone, right? That, you know, we don't hold on to that. So, and just having this devastation of like, well, I don't even, you know, so when I hear the song, there's something around like, oh, I have to leave you buried, like wherever you landed, wherever you are, like there's this practice of being like, I have to do my work of letting go.
Yes.
And there's something that happens in your voice, Autumn, towards the end of the song where it sounds like you're almost smiling. You know, I go to the ocean, Jamie. And it's just, it feels like you're smiling. And I want to ask you about that, especially as we begin to pivot into the final song of the EP. Can you tell us a little bit about that, the smile in your voice and where it's taking us?
I really want to say this song, I want to say in order to get to the smile, I have to speak a little bit about the process of writing the song, because it is probably one of the songs I'm most proud of writing. And it was also the hardest one to finish. But then Infant Phenomenon he made it possible, which is why I'm smiling. And so the whole song started with that gorgeous piano line. I wrote that. It's probably the most complex like piano part I've ever written for me. You know what I mean? In terms of my compositional skill. I wrote it and I would play it over and over again, and it came before the lyrics. And then like the lyrics came next, and then the sounds that you hear that form the bridge of the song, that is a part that I kind of wrote separately, like the vocals of it. That was like, and I remember going to the Bemis Center in 2023 and like laying down a demo that was like an early version of that bridge, but I couldn't figure out how to connect it to that piano part. Like I just couldn't, there was some way that there were like two different parts of the song. Even when we sent the song to Meryl the first time, we sent it as two different recordings because it was like two different parts of the song that definitely seemed to go together, but I could not figure out how to connect them. And so it was just in this really stuck place, and it stayed in this stuck place for like months, which is part of why we didn't take it into the studio the first time. But then in March of this year, we were gearing up, getting ready to go into the studio. And I woke up one morning with the words, I go to the ocean, Jamie. I go. And I was like, whoa, that's his name. We never named the Infant Phenomenon. Right? Yes. I mean, Infant Phenomenon is his name. And that started out as a nickname that we gave him because while I was pregnant with him, he like seemed to be surviving against all odds. Like it did not make sense that I was pregnant. It didn't make sense that, you know, there were a whole bunch of medical crises basically that kept happening. And it was just like at every stage that it seemed like he would die, he didn't until he finally did. And then when he finally did, it was like, wow, he's just the Infant Phenomenon. That's who he is, you know?
Yeah.
But we didn't give him like a name. And then I woke up with this name and this message about going to the ocean. And I was like, he just gave me permission to call him by a name so that I could fucking finish this song. And then it all clicked into place, you know? Yeah. Like that was because then it changed what the core melody line was, and the piano became separate. And then when we got into the studio, and again, this is where like the trust that Nehemiah and I have as artists is like so depthful, so real, so beautiful. We're going in the studio and I'm like, I can't play this. Or I could play it, but I can't do with this piano what you can do. Nehemiah has been playing piano since he was 8 years old. Yeah. And so I was like, I really just want to hand you this part of things. And Nehemiah was like, got it. And then we're doing all these different takes. And there comes a point where I was like, Nehemiah, I really want that in that moment where it's a piano solo, I was like, I really want Jackson Browne piano. And Nehemiah was like, I know exactly what you mean. And then he sits down and he delivers the Jackson Browne piano. And I was like, ah! It was like one of those mind meld moments of being like, I don't have to explain what I'm talking about because I'm working with one of the smartest and most like, Nehemiah has like the most expansive musical tastes also of almost anyone I've ever met. And so it's like, I can say that and Nehemiah knows exactly what I mean without me having to explain it.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just like, it was such a beautiful, so by the time the song is ending, it's the joy of like listeners have heard me say this before. I really believe this, that like grief and joy are actually the same feeling. Mm-hmm. And there's so much joy in grieving because it's like the closest you get to really fully, deeply understanding how much you love someone. Mm-hmm. Like you don't get to feel that the way that you love someone, you don't get to feel it with so much clarity until you lose them, which is that's like it's a contradiction of life, I guess, or not contradiction, but it's like,
it's just a condition.
It's a condition.
It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that brings us into one of the best things that's ever happened, one of the weirdest things that's ever happened, which I really can't wait till y'all find a way to share the live show experience with everybody in the world. But this Come Celebrate With Me song, you want to experience in your life getting to watch Autumn and Nehemiah perform this live. It is an electric experience. And I think what we're going to do, my instinct is we're just going to go out on this. So I want you to set us up and then we're just going to let this song take us out. So tell us, we know Come Celebrate With Me is a famous, it's probably Lucille Clifton's most famous poem. And I want you to explain like how you went from that to this like cosmic space pop magic gospel orgasmic release of a song.
Oh my God, the most fun thing in the world. Right. The title of the poem, of Lucille Clifton's poem that the song is based on, is Won't You Celebrate With Me? And what I don't even remember how this song came about. We just started playing with it. Like I think I sent you a voice memo note at some point where I was like, and then you and I got together. I feel like the first time we recorded it with piano, you were in Minneapolis, right?
It was
a few years ago.
Yep. Yep. And actually, I believe that the little bit of the recording is from that time in Minneapolis. Let's take it from the tippy top.
Yes. Yes. Let's take it from the tippity top. That's from one of the demos.
We had done it a few times, and so we wanted to try to capture the full thing. And you were pretty clear that this was one that you wanted to open up. You wanted it to have like gospel feelings. You wanted it to have a kind of choral feeling to it also. And so that's where we started and like where the demos were.
Right.
Then we got into the studio.
Okay. All right. So this was the first song we worked on in the studio. Okay. And Meryl had this idea. I love Meryl. I love the way she works. And I love the way she works with us. She had this idea. She was like, let's take the song that's closest to done and start out our whole recording session just jamming. Just do a jam session with the song where we just like all get on some instruments and just jam and play around with it. And so that jam session, which was literally how we started on like Tuesday morning of the week that we recorded.
Beautiful.
Ended up becoming what we referred to as the weird party. Because we all had, like, we had the demo track going, I think, in the background. We all had headphones on. We were all in front of microphones. Yes. We all had different, like, shakers and tambourines. And then Meryl was like, yeah, just make weird noises. Just, like, do whatever. Like, get free with your vocals. Get free with your bodies. And so we were all just, like, looking at each other and jamming out, having a great time. And then it was like after the jam session that we actually started laying some things down, like laying down vocals, figuring out the relationship between like the, you know, we had with most of the tracks on this EP, actually, the way that Dwight's beat production works is that he would provide us with like more than one beat playground for a particular song. Usually he would provide like 2 to 3. And in the first EP, we just would pick one to run with. But with this EP, almost every song we use both of them. And so that's part of what you hear in the song too, is like you're hearing multiple different layers of beats that were made by Dwight.
I love that.
Yeah, but like there was so much improvisation that happened on this song that then made it into the final.
Yeah.
Like all that, like, you know, so many of those everydays, so many of those extra sounds, like so much of what happened was just like us vocally improvising and just really being with each other in the playfulness of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll find it again.
Let's try it from the tippity top.
Come celebrate with me.
Has tried to kill me and has failed. Come celebrate with me. Come celebrate with me. Every day, every day, every day. Every day, every day, every day. Something has tried to kill me.
Fun, transcendent, adaptive. It was magical, and we're gonna go listen to it. And listeners, as you're listening to it, I want you to also know you can get this album. You can get it on vinyl. You can get merch to go along with it. You can go to Autumn's Instagram page, Nehemiah's Instagram page, and we'll throw all these links in the show notes as well. But we'll link to our Bandcamp in the show notes, which is how you can get the vinyl. The Bandcamp. All right, so let's go celebrate. We love you all. Come celebrate.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Woohoo! Woo!